What's going on, everyone? JX21 back with you again. Um, I know I said I would be videoing every Tuesday, but considering today's Thursday, I know I'm a couple days late. But here, here's what I thought of week two, going by game to game. And the first game I'm going to start off with is Thursday Night Football. Last week they had uh, the Panthers and the Buccaneers, and um, I have to admit I did fall asleep during the fourth quarter of this game, so I didn't get to watch every play that I wanted to, but I did get to watch the big uh, the scoring plays, which were um, what I think were important to me. But starting off, Tampa Bay won 20-14 against Carolina. The Carolina's defense looked good. Their offense, um, I know it's early, but it still had some work to be done, in my opinion. Um, Cam Newton is not playing to his potential. That's my opinion. Um, he he just isn't throwing the ball like he should. In my opinion. But speaking of Cam, he had he went 25 for 51, 333 yards, and no touchdowns. And this was last week. And in order to win a football game, in my opinion, is you gotta throw touchdowns. Um, you can't just depend on one player, which is I know for the Panthers they don't have a lot of players except for Cam Newton and um, McCaffrey. But you got to give McCaffrey the ball a lot more times than 24 times, 25. Well, I'm sorry, 16. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey had 16 carries for 37 yards. Now, I'm not saying that Christian McCaffrey did horrible. That's plus those 37 yards. They're okay, but you've um, thanks to the Bucks defense, they shut him down. Um, and that's for the Bucks defense. That's how you're gonna stop Carolina. Because if you make Carolina a one-dimensional team, they are, and if you make them into a throwing team, they're not gonna do well. Hence the 14 points. Um, and those 14 points didn't even come from Cam Newton at all. They I think I think they were like interceptions or something like that. I can't remember. But the leading receiver for the Panthers last week was was Greg Olsen, which is good because he's come back to form. I think he had six receptions for 110 yards. He did get hurt. Last time I looked, last time I remember correctly before, he did get hurt. He had a bloody nose. He also had a couple of other injuries, problems. Um, but Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston, he's looking like the Jameis Winston I saw back in Florida State. Back when he used to play for Florida State, he had 208 yards and one touchdown. He is getting the ball a lot. He's distributing the ball a lot better, in my opinion. Um, he split it between Godwin and who had 8 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown. Seems to me that I'm not blaming Jameis Winston for not throwing it to Mike Evans at all, but uh, Jameis Winston, in my opinion, is doing the exact, uh, which is a good thing, the exact opposite of what teams want him to do, and he's still he is still thriving. He's found a new target in Chris Godwin, which is good because that takes all the attention away from Mike Evans, and that makes the defense want to try to uh, try to guard other players besides double teaming Chris and Mike Evans. Now, I'm not saying that Mike Evans is not gonna get doubled. No, but it'll make defenses think what's going to happen if I double team Mike Evans, what's going to happen to Chris Godwin or O.J. Howard or Peyton Barber, which, in my opinion, like I said, is good for the Buccaneers because if they can distribute the ball like they need to, they're going to win a lot more games than everybody thinks. As for Carolina, Cam is not gonna is not gonna be playing this week, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the Panthers this week. Um, I forgot who they play, so don't hold me. But I think I picked whoever the Panthers play against. I think it's Washington. No, I don't remember. But in but the first game of the week was a good game. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad game, but the Panthers had a chance to go take the lead, and Christian McCaffrey um, uh, tried to sneak around to the left side, and he got stopped on fourth down. So that is the first game, in my opinion. It was a good game. Like I said, it'll it'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait and see what happens this week with the with the Panthers, considering that Cam's not playing this week, um, and see what the backup can do with all the wide receivers and Christian McCaffrey. The second game I'm going to talk about is, of course, Kansas City. I was thinking I'm going to skip it for now, but I'm going to just go down the way I wrote it. Um, Patrick Mahomes again went on fire. The score was 28-10, which was really freaking me out because I was watching it and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna lose to the Oakland Raiders and we're gonna not make it the way everybody thought we did. Um, there's good news and there's bad news about the Raiders. Good news is they put up 10 points, basically. Bad news is they let Patrick Mahomes score 4 touchdowns in the second quarter. Yes, that is correct. I said second quarter. The score was 28-10, like I said, and we scored. Kansas City scored all 4 touchdowns to all over in the second quarter. Again, McCoy, he didn't do well, but I mean, it's not because of the offensive line, in my opinion. It's because of he's not finding the holes. Well, he's finding the holes, but the holes are closing. Um, McCoy had 11 carries for 23 yards. Like I said, it's early in the season. Everyone's still trying to figure everything out, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna work out for Kansas City. McCoy's not gonna be upset if he can't get his touches. He's enjoying being in Kansas City. I know that for a fact. Uh, I can see it. I can tell. Um, but 23 yards, it's not bad. Like I said, when you have 3 different running backs coming in on the same drive, it'll be okay for McCoy because he kind of needs his rest. Not saying that he's old, but it's good that he gets his rest for the long games. Um, as I told everyone last week, Tyreek Hill was is out. I finally found out that he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks with that bruised shoulder. So the player that stepped up this week was for Kansas City was Demarcus Robinson, who had 6 catches for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Um, that's 2 of the 4. The other 2 touchdowns that Patrick Mahomes threw to, one was to Travis Kelce, and the other was to Mecole Hardman, the rookie out of Georgia, which everyone was like, man, again, I'm going to bring this back. Everyone was like, man, Kansas City, they're going to be fine. They're not going to do well. Again, they're 2-0. They got a big game this week against the Baltimore Ravens. First home game. I'm so pumped. I'll be ready for it. But if I didn't give the stats for Patrick Mahomes, he had 443 passing yards. He is just setting the league on fire. He should have had 5 touchdowns. He had one called back. He threw a perfectly good, beautiful spiral down to Mecole Hardman, which called back because of a hold, but he would have had 5, which would have put the final score probably to 35-10. But we're not going to worry about that. For Oakland, Carr did okay, in my opinion. Of course, being a divisional game so early in the season, like it was, from my opinion, 23 for 38 is not that good. He didn't have the stellar performance that he had last week against Denver. He had 198 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 2 interceptions, which I give props to Kansas City's defense because they're stepping up. If they keep building and stepping up the way they do, they're going to be fine. Josh Jacobs, the rookie from Alabama, had 12 carries for 99 yards, and he watch out for Josh Jacobs if you guys watch any football. Watch out for Josh Jacobs because Josh Jacobs, I don't know if it's going to be this year, but it'll be, I would have to say next year. That kid is on fire. Like he is a downhill runner. He reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson when he was with the Chargers back in the day. He's just a powerful back, and he's going to be a force to reckon with. Like I said, he's a rookie. He didn't have any touchdowns, but he's going to be a force to reckon with. Another player to watch out for is Waller, and who had 6 receptions for 63 yards, no touchdowns, but he's going to be, like I said, he's going to be a force to reckon with, too. All these players are going to be a force to reckon with. And like I said before, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but when they got rid of Antonio Brown, to me it looked like the Raiders were not worried about it. Because these players are stepping up. Now, am I saying that Antonio Brown would have been a bad fit for him? Well, it turns out like they were for him because he basically just didn't want to play there. I don't know why, but he just didn't want to play there. And I'll bring up Antonio Brown in a couple more minutes. He did pretty okay for his debut for the Patriots. But oh yeah. The next Oh, that one touchdown that Carr had went to Williams, who had 5 receptions, 46 yards, and that one touchdown. But the defense, Kansas City played really well. If they play like that every week, they're gonna win every game. Um, the next game I'm gonna talk about is the 49ers and the Bengals. The 49ers, golly, um, wow, they put up 41 points against the Bengals to their 17. Garoppolo went 17 for 25, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That kid, that Jimmy Garoppolo is special. He's a good quarterback. I wish he would have worked out for New England back when he played. Um, but since it didn't, I'm kind of glad that the 49ers picked him up. He's got a real good chemistry with his wide receivers and even George Kittle. So that'll be really interesting. He's coming on fast. He had, like I said, he had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, but um, the touchdowns outweigh the interception, so that'll be okay for him. Breida had 12 carries for 121 yards, no touchdowns, but 121 yards for uh, for a running back his size is really good. Um, and one of the touchdowns, well, a couple of the touchdowns that Garoppolo threw to was one of the wide receivers named Wilson. You have to forgive me, I don't know his first name. I didn't write it down, but Wilson had 10 receptions, 34 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Um, he uh, he the 2 touchdowns must have been short yardage. I didn't get to watch the whole game like I wanted to, but I did keep up with most of the games. Um, Godwin had 3 receptions for 77 yards, 1 touchdown, and no, I'm sorry. Wilson had Wilson's the running back, so he had 2 touchdowns. I think one was passing, one was uh no, they both. I think they were both running. I can't remember, but I just looked at it again. I'm sorry about that. Um, here we go.